I guess you could say that. I haven't been back there in a while, but there's not a whole lot going on, so I'm sure this is exciting news.
What's your hometown like?
It's small. There's 100 people in my graduating class, about 400 people total in the high school, so not too much going on. So I'm sure this made the news.
If he doesn't know it already, this kid will find out in a hurry that he was brought in here to make sure that Ben Roethlisberger has one more weapon to work with, and he's going to make his living playing in traffic.
I think in Virginia I was able to work over the middle a little bit. I was able to do a variety of things, but I caught a lot of balls over the middle. And this past year I caught a lot of balls on some bootleg passes, just depending on our quarterbacks. And I enjoyed doing all those things, and I'm anxious to do some of that here.
He may have been standing at a podium in another town if it hadn't been for a sports hernia operation that he had in January. Some teams might have been worried he wouldn't be ready to play soon enough.
At this point, I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything: agilities, running routes, lifting weights in the weight room. Just not as up to 100% yet, but I'm well on my way.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today as we introduce our first-round draft pick, David DeCastro. I don't think they keep records about this, but I think David may have set the record for the shortest time between being drafted and being on a plane to Pittsburgh, because last night, right after we drafted him, I heard he was catching the red eye, so appreciate you catching the red eye in, David. You know, he comes to us, as Coach Tone would say, with a strong pedigree, starting guard for one of the top programs in the country and one of the top academic schools in the country at Stanford. So we've certainly had a lot of opportunities to watch him play and are very excited about having him become a Pittsburgh Steeler. So first I want to present you with your first Steeler jersey, which eventually we'll get the number right, but since you're the first-round pick, David, you get number 1 to start with.
Thank you very much. All right. All yours.
We'll just open up for questions for David.
David, I guess just first your thoughts when the moment arrived and you found out the Steelers, and I guess your life changes now.
Yeah, definitely a life-changing moment. As far as the Steelers, I was really excited. Obviously, the organization and team speaks for itself. Arguably one of the best, if not the best, fan base in the world. I'm just excited. Great football town, great football city, and couldn't be happier, really.
Obviously, the higher you're drafted, that's where guys want to go, but when you start sliding down, you realize you're getting to better teams, I guess. Just the mindset as you continue to slide down there in the first round, the combination of disappointment and excitement.
Yeah, the getting picked by the Steelers definitely helped overcome, any disappointment. It really wasn't much. I didn't really go in with any expectations. I knew the draft has a ton of variables, and there's a lot of stuff that can happen, with all the trades and whatnot. And the Steelers picked me. I was more than overjoyed.
Last night you said you were a Seahawks fan. I'm sure that has changed now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it definitely has. Not anymore.
Were you one of the fans who were whining about the officiating?
No comment.
David, Andrew was your roommate, correct?
Yes, past year he was.
Yeah, and you guys close? Did you talk yesterday at all?
Yeah, we talked yesterday. Gave him a quick call. He was pretty busy. Yeah, he sent me a text and I called him after. I was pretty busy. It's, a whirlwind kind of event. So.
What have the last 24 hours been like? Finding out, getting on a plane, coming here, meeting everybody.
Yeah, I'm still trying to catch my breath. A bunch of text messages, a bunch of phone calls, a bunch of people saying congrats. It's an exciting time. I'm just trying to really enjoy the moment, and at the same time, just excited to finally have a team and excited just to get started and play some football.
Not even 24 hours into your tenure as a Steeler, but expectations of playing time, where you fit in with this offense.
No clue. I just want to play football. I got a long way to go. Obviously, I haven't done anything, and the journey's just beginning.
David, when did you start playing football? I read your father played rugby. Is that true?
Yeah. So my parents don't have a clue about football, actually. Well, they do a little bit more. My mom's actually educated herself quite a bit, but I started playing high school, and I started playing football in high school.
Did you play any rugby too, or no?
No rugby.
David, you mentioned the fan base. You just realized how passionate the base is and how you're now an instant celebrity in this town. You realize, I mean, can you speak a little bit about that?
Not really. I've never been really good with attention and all that stuff. I'm just a typical lineman. So, yeah, I think it's gonna be weird getting used to that.
David, did you meet with the Steelers at the Combine, and did you have any expectation, not necessarily where you would go, but maybe what teams might be interested in you, and were they one of them?
Yeah, I definitely met with them at the Combine. Like I said before, it's hard to tell with the draft. I think a lot of teams like to play a lot of games. Kind of smoke and mirrors approach. So, I didn't really have expectations.
David, where are you in school? How much obligation do you still have left for your finish?
One more. This final quarter, I'm finishing up, and I'll have my degree, and I'll be done.
How did you? Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't going to go ahead, sure.
How did you kind of come to your position? Did you kind of start on the O-line, or how did it work out? Offense versus defense, and how you wound up where you are.
Yeah, I played both in high school, but when I got to college, I was an O-lineman, definitely. I kind of played all three positions freshman year, and then got put into right guard my second year, and played there since.
What did you like about that position?
Stanford was fun. A lot of pulling, a lot of out in space, and I just enjoyed it.
One offensive line coach mentioned this morning that so much attention paid to Andrew Luck, and deservedly so, and he was chasing the Heisman Trophy. But he thought that the football team at Stanford was more reflective of the fact that you guys gained 446 yards against Washington, that the offensive line was probably a little bit unnoticed during the course of the season. How did you guys, just go through that season, and then here you are, first round draft pick? What does that say about, that Stanford offensive line and the Stanford offensive program, and here you are?
Yeah, I think the Stanford program, we were just a group of guys that, typical linemen, just enjoyed working. We weren't about the fanfare, the attention. We just, liked moving people off the ball and getting rushing yards, and that's what we were about.
And he also mentioned the fact that they thought the Steelers got incredible value with you at 24, where maybe they thought the Lions were going to take you, maybe a couple of teams. Were you a little surprised, though, that you landed in Pittsburgh as opposed to Detroit and some other teams who talked to you?
Like I said before, the draft's so hard to gauge where you're going to go. I'm just overjoyed to be a Steeler. That's about all I can say.
Only one sack you gave up in 3 years, is that correct?
There probably was a couple more that Andrew kind of saved me, but yeah, there's one on the books.
You mentioned one that you recalled. The only one that you said was Combine, I think, was a guy from UCLA.
Yeah, Brian Price.
Yeah.
David, Kevin Colbert said you're equally as athletic as you are aggressive. Is that something you take pride in as a football player?
Definitely. I think just one of those things athletically trying to work on every day and get better as a football player. Obviously, it helps a lot.
Any final? All right, thank you. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. We're here to welcome T.J. Watt, our first-round draft pick, to Pittsburgh, and obviously we're excited to have him. He comes from a football family, as you all know, which was exciting to have him be part of the Steeler family. He also comes from a college program we're very familiar with, a college coaching staff we're very familiar with that really helped us in the evaluation process. So TJ obviously had a great year last year, and he's still learning his position, and we're excited to have him come here and help him develop here and have him contribute to us. So my pleasure to introduce T.J. Watt.
First, I would like to thank Mr. Rooney, Mr. Colbert, and Coach Tomlin. Just to finally be here is so incredible, and also to thank Steeler Nation. It is my job now to play for the Pittsburgh Steelers and to work my butt off each and every single day for this organization, and I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. This means the world to me, but this is just the beginning. I promise to put everything I have into this organization and to work with these teammates and to be able to be under the tutelage of these guys and just be on the stairway to 7. We're here to win a Super Bowl, and I feel like I can help this team win games.
Question for TJ?
TJ, was it hard at first being known as JJ's little brother, and how did you adapt through that process as the years went by?
I'd say in the high school years it was a little bit harder for me, a little more difficult because I didn't know how to handle it. But as I grew older and matured more, I kind of saw it as more of an asset than a liability. Just to gain knowledge from someone who was so good at football and to kind of see the background information and the background work that no one else gets to see what goes on behind the scenes to make him so successful has definitely helped me along my journey.
He was talking today about the time he took you and your brother on the European vacation, just how you guys worked out in the middle of the night. I just wondered if you could just talk about that experience, getting to see the world, and the three of you traveling on what he called a boys' trip.
Yeah, that trip was really cool, and I think the most special part about that trip was just spending time with my two brothers for 15 straight days and to truly bond and to grow as brothers. It wasn't always football, but we definitely did find time to work out when we were in Rome and in Europe, all throughout Europe and things like that. And I think it just shows that that's the type of people we are. It doesn't matter if we're on vacation. It doesn't matter if I got drafted yesterday. I'm going to work my butt off regardless of the circumstances, and that's just how my family works.
TJ, what were those backyard football games like?
Excuse me?
What were those backyard football games like?
Usually ending in a bloody nose or a fist fight with some of us. Obviously, growing up, we were really competitive, especially in family. We were always doing drills in the backyard, but my parents were always there to oversee it.
Did you talk about being a quick learner in this transition, going from tight end where you ended up?
Yeah, I think early on the transition was a little bit more difficult to me just because obviously everything was new. But a lot of stuff came natural to me, like pass rush and stopping the run. But I feel like I did a great job, and I feel like I have a lot more to learn. But I feel like whether you're a first-year guy or a 15-year guy, there's always room to work on your craft, and that's why I'm so excited to work with these gentlemen over here to just keep getting better.
Paul, Chris approached you about making that change. You said you took maybe 12 hours to make the decision. What was your thought process like during that time, thinking it over about what you wanted to do?
I'm just trying to see what gave me the best chance to get to the spot at where I'm at right now, and I think just kind of learn about the mentality of being defense and just being a ball hawk and getting after the ball and being able to be a playmaker on every single play as an outside linebacker was really intriguing to me. And I feel like once I made the switch, it was the best decision I ever made.
Is there any recovery from the two knee surgeries? How did your relationship with your brothers change?
I don't know. I think, if anything, they grew stronger just because they were kind of feeling for me and what I was going through. And I think as they went through their injuries on their own, later on it kind of helped our relationship as well because I was able to help them through their injuries.
Was it kind of odd to have the same exact injury on both knees, and what was that about?
I knew after I had them both, I knew it was susceptible to happen again if I didn't have the surgery. I think it's just the way I was born, just the way my knees are. But thankfully, Dr. Lowe was able to fix my knees up, and they've been fine.
Was there ever a point in time when you thought maybe this isn't for me, maybe I can't keep playing football?
No, I think maybe it might have crept in the back of my mind after the second injury, but I truly don't think so. This is what I was born to do, and I believe that since a really, really young age. And I'm to this point now, and I can't wait to keep going.
What did you learn about overcoming adversity by going through that situation?
Yeah, I'd say once I had my second knee injury, it was probably when I decided to take football really seriously. I've been treating myself as a professional athlete in college, I like to say, because I finally realized how important the game is to me because it's been taken away twice. And I truly love the process of football. I'm not just a gamer. I love practice. I love working out. I love all the little details of football. And I think being injured and sitting out for an extended period of time really taught me the values.
Yeah, what's your biggest strength as a pass rusher?
I think just tenacity. A lot of sacks are just relentlessly getting after the passer. You don't see. You will see guys winning on the first move, but it's just being tenacious after the passer and just not giving up on a play. I feel like that's something that I do really well.
TJ, did the coaches at Wisconsin choose offense for you, or did you want to play offense early on in your career?
I think it was a mix of both. I came out of high school as a tight end, and I think that's what they recruited me as, and that's just how it worked out when I got to school.
What were those early days like learning the technique? I mean, was it frustrating at all when you're just kind of repetition, and trying to get the nuances of it?
I don't think so. I think it's the attitude that you bring to work every day really kind of sets the tone for how you're going to learn. And I think that's what I carry with me, is just a positive attitude and just I'm going to be the hardest worker there is, just because I have an opportunity to play in the National Football League now. And there I had an opportunity to get on the field as a Wisconsin Badger, which was the coolest thing in the world to me. And you can't have a down day, and I think you just have to realize it's not going to come overnight, but you just kind of have to keep beating away at it day after day, and eventually it'll come.
You come to an organization that has a lot of great linebackers. Does that put a smile on your face, joining such notables?
Yes, definitely it does. To be a part of a group that has such great tradition and guys that are here today still doing and playing football, flying around, making hits, and playing Steelers football and playing my type of football is awesome to be a part of. And man, I can't say it enough, but I cannot wait to get out there and start working with those guys.
Do you like watching James Harrison Instagram videos?
I do. They kind of freak me out a little bit, but I can't wait to see them in person.
TJ, there was too much talk last night about, in relation to your family name, you being your own man. How motivating is that for you to now carve out your own niche at this level?
Yeah, I think this is finally the next step for me, is to be in the National Football League and to be on my own organization and to totally be separate from my brothers. Obviously, the name is always going to be with me, but I feel like now this is one step closer to making plays and to making a name for myself. And obviously, I love my brothers to death. It's something that they can't control, and I'll always be attached to them. But I'm here to bring my hard work and dedication every single day and be my own person and just work my butt off.
What do you want to do weight-wise, conditioning-wise?
Get as conditioned as possible, and then just see where the coaches want me at, as weight-wise. But the biggest thing that I can do is just come into camp conditioned and take as many plays as I can.
Mike and Kevin both talked about the LSU game, talking about you guys tonight. How much, if at all, did your perspective shift after that performance?
I don't know. I've expected to perform the way I did. I had a really good spring ball going into the season, and then kind of going to LSU, I feel like there's a bunch of plays that I missed, just like a lot of games throughout the season. But definitely kind of felt like it put me on the map a little bit, and if anything, it kind of brought more attention to me and created better matchups.
Your family's done something unique here with all these guys in the NFL. As kids, did you ever think about that? Did you talk amongst yourself like, hey, we all want to get to the NFL. Everybody's goal, but you guys have made it.
Yeah, I think it was definitely a dream, but it was never one that we thought was in reach. And then as we grew older and we saw JJ do it, it became more of an expectation almost, because you see how much hard work gets put into it, and you realize a kid from Pewaukee can make it. And I see the work, and I know what it takes, and that's why I take this so seriously day after day and just take it one day at a time to get here. And yeah, it's great to be here, but I'm not satisfied at all to just be here. I'm chasing greatness, and that's what I'm here for.
Did the quarterback dream die hard?
Quarterback dream belly flopped. Didn't have a great senior season as a quarterback, but it was a lot of fun.
Does any of that experience translate to trying to be the guy who tackles that guy?
I don't know. If anything, it's more of a leadership, just kind of being the guy in the huddle to calm everyone down and to be that voice to lead the huddle. But I don't know if it helps me set quarterbacks of being a quarterback.
Anything final for TJ? All right, sounds good. Thank you, guys. We'll have Art and TJ first, and then we'll grab Coach and Kevin. Right now.